Would you like some shitty players to podcast about a game they're not good at?
What's up, Digidesk, and thank you for listening to the Security Check Digimon TCG podcast. Make sure to join the Cataclysmic Cardboard Discord server via the link in the description. And now, let's jump into the digital world.
So we had our first ever Cataclysmic Cardboard Win-a-Box tournament, and we are privileged enough to have our winner with us tonight, Megasweatyman.
Yeah, that's me. I didn't know if that was the part where I talked, so I paused.
No.
But yeah, that's me. I'm here.
So yeah, we'll go ahead and get into the interview. We had a good little turnout. We had 10 originally sign up, and then ended up only being 7 of us, 8 of us. So it was a solid 7 of us. It was a solid little tournament for our first tournament. I thought it was pretty good. But why don't you give us a little introduction to yourself and how you started into the TCG universe?
Oh man, all right, yeah, Megasweatyman. So I actually haven't been playing card games that long at all. I didn't start playing until I think it was like 2015. So it was when I moved to Tennessee. I'm from Alabama, but yeah, so I haven't been playing that long. But one of my good friends, he was a Yu-Gi-Oh player, and we were just at the house hanging out. And he's like, "Have you ever played Yu-Gi-Oh?" I was like, "I mean, I watched the TV show, as a kid, but no." And he just showed it to me, and I just got really invested in card games at that point. I played it for a few years, and then Dragon Ball Super came out shortly after, and I love Dragon Ball, so I was all about it. And then Digimon came out, and that was one I was super into as a kid, was Digimon, and here I am now, spending way too much money on card games.
For sure, but it'll pay off. You're having a lot of fun with it, and so what did you pilot? What did you bring to lay the smackdown on the members of the Discord? What deck did you pilot during it?
I played Bellstar Mon. Yeah, I love that deck. Ever since that deck got revealed, God, what set are we on? BT10? I think it was like 4 sets ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think she came out in BT6. I've loved that deck. It's still one of my favorites. It's like Light Sworns from Yu-Gi-Oh! It's so fun to play. And it's one of my old faithful. I think I've kept this deck built and just kept updating it as the sets have came by. I was like, oh, that's a 7-cost option card. What does it do? About that. Let's slide this into Bellstar and see if I can abuse it.
It's your Tyrannomon.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like he's so what is the whole goal? Like what is Bellstar, what does she do? Like what is the deck's purpose? Like what's its actual staple?
So Bellstar, she's the monster. She's the boss right there, right? Yeah, I was right. It is BT6. I got the deck open right now looking at it because I'm going to be real. I'm going to miss-say it. And I'm going to look like a real nerd when people listen to this. And they're like, wow, he has no clue what he's talking about. And they're accurate. So Bellstar, her ability says, for every 7-cost option card or 3 Musketeer cards you have in your trash, you can reduce her play cost by 1. So if I have 12 in the trash between 3 Musketeers and option cards, she's free to play. And her on-play effect is I get to return 1 option card with a memory cost of 7 from my grave back to my hand, and then I can play a 7-cost option card for free. So the whole purpose of the deck, the theme around it right now, I think in this meta, it's the best way to stop most of these decks is cards like Cocytus Breath and Metal Storm. Because most decks are like, yeah, cool, kill me. I have material save. I'm just going to save my pieces and do it twice. But, that's why I thought, Cocytus Breath, Metal Storm, they're like, no, you're not. It's just going to go to your hand. And so, it sits them back because if their pieces aren't under their tamers, they just can't abuse the system as bad as if I just killed it, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean that hurts everybody because like if you're crossing, like even other purple players, like if you it's in your hand, you're not playing it from your trash. You can't be a good trash panda and use the weapons you have.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
that. I
Yeah.
do.
In so many decks in this format and the previous format have been big stack decks. Like if you
Yep.
played Magic, it's Voltron decks, right? Alphamon
Mhm.
is what we were talking about earlier. Black War Greymon, War Grey X, Melga, all those just for names,
Yeah.
Grandis. They have like a stack of like 6 cards to 7 cards under them guaranteed, right? So they're swinging thinking they're going to break all 5 shields. The first card they hit's a Cocytus Breath. Ooh, sad day. You just
Yep.
lost 2 level 5s, level 6s, all the level 4s and 3s below, So it just sits them back so many turns that they invested in this one stack that by the time they come back, I've already been pick-poking with my little guys, chiseling away your life. I'm just going to have it all the time in the world to build myself back up to keep that advantage rolling, And
yeah.
it's like, there's cheeky cards in here, like Genkaku Promote. The combo with Bellstar is when Bellstar is free, or at least 1 or 2, you can play Nailbone, which lets you play Genkaku Promote from the trash for free, and Genkaku has Rush, so it's like a free quick swing for game, Like, I think I did it against Hagi, where I was just like, cool, Bellstar's free. He's like, okay. I was like, Bellstar, Nailbone, swing, Genkaku. It died. And I was like, sweet. Bellstar again, Nailbone again, Genkaku again, swing. And that's just how I just chiseled away as many times as I could,
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned like how well she does against the big stack decks because when BT6 Double Diamond launched, I was playing Augubond and everything at that time. So I think that those boards were a little bit more because you were applying the early pressure with like the promo Greymons that on his actual ability he gets +1 security. So like your board was a little bit wider. So it's like I feel like that's why she's able to shine, like you said, in this. Because if you're just building that huge stack, there's probably no other bodies. Like I might have, like I play War Grey X, so I probably only have like maybe an Agumon that the Searcher Agumon, something like that. There's nothing really on my board. So it's like once you kill, War Grey X, it's like, oh no. Like
yeah, I'm sit back a few turns, right? Because most of the time when you push it out of the back zone, that's when you make your mega.
Yeah.
That means I have like 2 turns solid before I have to be afraid of that mega again.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as like how you're saying like the little decks and stuff like that, and that's the cool versatility I think about Bellstar. It's like there's a card in that you run called Gwalt Swarmer, which deletes it deletes all Digimon with play costs are 7 or less. So like people that play the Gamamon Rush, Crossheart, stuff like that. Blue Flare, it hits Blue Flare because it's Metal Grace 7, and it just hits the whole board. You swing wide. Like if you commit too much, it can bite you in the butt because Bellstar's like, I'll give you 10. I have no care in the world. I'll sit you all the way to 10 if I can wipe your whole board. I don't care. I've Death X for 11 before just to get rid of your whole board. I'm good with it.
See, and that makes a lot of sense too because new players coming into the game, the memory gauge is what's so cool, but like you can have all the memory in the world, and sometimes it's actually hurtful because if you give like 10 memory, like you said, if your board's wiped, it doesn't matter because Digimon, your drawing capabilities and stuff, and if you just spent all your resources into a big stack or going wide either way, your hand's probably depleted unless you're playing like blue or something that allows you to draw more effectively. So me being a red player especially, sometimes I can get as low as like before the X antibodies, sometimes I would only have 2 or 3 cards in hand. So it's like you can clearly see that it's like, okay, he's against the ropes because red doesn't have very good draw power at all. So
not unless you're swinging. The only time you get to draw a lot is when you swing. No, I agree with you. Yeah, that's exactly my mentality when I do that. And my thought process all the way is just like, okay, you're gonna commit. way too much to try to sit up for the next turn to kill me, I'm gonna punish you. You know, I'm just gonna blow up the whole board. Sure, I gave you 10, but nothing in your deck has rush. So
Yeah.
I don't die that turn, you know. I just have to sit back up all over again. Like Death X, it feels so good when you play it on somebody who's overextended, but it feels so bad having it played on you when you've overextended.
Yes.
So I just and Death X, I think Death X is one of those cards that I don't see staying at 4 for much longer. I see it going to 1. I just think it's too abusive right now.
Oh, well, we've talked about it multiple times just in our short little run of the podcast that because I hadn't played a lot in the Death X meta really, and I'm calling it that because it's his reign as of right now. But I agree with you. I think it's going to be like pretty sick to see it go to 1 just because it will still be a very useful card. It's still going to be good. It will not kill it. But knowing I like in card games, like knowing your opponent's deck helps a lot in your matchups, knowing your matchup. So knowing like if you get rid of this one Death X, like that's literally why I started running when I was running Jelly Force when I first tested it. I was like, I'm running Cocytus Breath. I'm running Rattlestar. I'm running these cheaper option cards when Cocytus isn't cheap, but it's got no Digivolution sources. So I know, like, I even started running Kumamons and Kinkakumons. But anyway, just to get rid of that, so I knew I could put it at the bottom of the deck. And I'm like, okay, I'm safe. Unless they can draw their whole deck, like, I'm good.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Yeah. Just you said it the best just then. Like knowing your opponent's deck really helps you win games. Like if you know your opponent's deck, even I'd say the same, if not better than your opponent, you can anticipate, hey, if I played this is how I would respond. Hey, if I did it this way, can they commit? How bad can this backfire on me? You know? And that's kind of the way I play in every format, no matter what deck I play in Digimon. Is like I think in myself, in my head, okay, so I have this deck, I've played this deck. If I played this card, there's a good chance that this option card that completely, destroys me is probably in this deck. So do they have it? And it just leaves it up to the, RNG gods. You better have it. If you don't, I win. If you got it, well, screw me. I just kind of shot myself in the foot.
Oh man, I agree with that 100%. But so what? If you don't mind spilling the tea, you got you're in nationals. You're going to nationals. So, are you running this at nationals?
100%. Yeah, I'm playing this at Nats. The only way I won't play this at Nats is if they make Black War Gray legal. Like, if BT11 comes out, I'm gonna play Black War Greymon. The new X antibody stuff for it, I think, is disgusting. That option card shouldn't exist in any form whatsoever. Tamer hate already. Black War Gray scary when you make him because he's gonna pop your Tamer or your Digimon equal to 7. And just the fact that option card does it more on crack. And then you just make X antibody on top of him and it still punishes even more. That's just icing on the cake, So if they make that legal, I'll probably play Black War Gray X antibody. But if they don't, 100%. Bellstar all the way. I think right now the worst matchup that I could possibly have, and I don't even think it's a bad matchup, I just think I have to play it smarter and more cautiously, is Blue Flare. And that's simply because Blue Flare can go off so fast. And I don't even care about stunning because most of the time, the way I'm killing you is I'm chipping away. I'm playing a Digimon in the back row. I'm pushing it forward. I'm making an Eismon or a Dobermon on top of it, and I'm swinging into your shields, right? And it's just when they make metal, I have to make sure Psychmon's on the board. So they have to commit way more memory than they wanted to just to stall me by stunning. And if they give me 5 memory, I laugh. I'm like, cool, I'm just going to hard slam an option card, which puts it in the trash, puts you to like 1 or 2, maybe 3 if you have the Tamer, And it just, it's But Psychmon also hurts me because it says all turns. So I can't make Bellstar as long as Psychmon's on the board, or Death X. So that's why I kind of think it's cool because, on your turn, I keep Psychmon active. On my turn, I Digivolve over it into Eismon or Dobermon or Ogremon, and I just swing. And then if it dies, I'll play Bellstar, play Nailbone, and bring it right back for your turn, So I try to play that way around it, but Blue Flare is probably my worst matchup possible. And I just have to open up perfectly to win. And if I even mess up once, I don't know how I can beat it. It's just too aggressive.
How much Blue Flare do you think will be there? I think it'll have a pretty good showing.
It's Blue Hybrid just with Digimon. Instead of Tamer Jumpers, it's crossing attackers.
Yeah.
I think Blue Flare is going to be the most represented blue deck at Nats. Even after BT11, I think Blue Flare will be the most represented blue deck. Of course, you're still going to have your Imperial Dramon, which is blue-green. It's never going away. That deck's never getting bad. They just keep giving more stuff, like the new Tamers that are coming out in the future sets. Examon, I think, is going to be there because it's blue-green, and Examon's just, if he gets it on the board turn 3, you're just staring at it for a minute like, how do I get rid of this level 7 that goats me every turn? Yep. And if I tap and it dies, I lose a security, right? How am I killing it? So that hurts. And then I think it's going to be, if BT11 is legal, I think most of the Nats is going to consist of Black Wargray, Security Control, Blue Flare, Yellow Hybrid, the Venus Loop. I think that's still going to be there. Security Control, like a Fawny Loop and stuff like that. Until they get rid of Chaos Degradation, I don't see Security Control going anywhere because that card is still just an answer to everything.
It really is. It answers like every pretty much play you can come up with.
Yeah, because it doesn't delete you. It doesn't remove you from the game. It doesn't bounce to your hand. It doesn't bounce to the bottom. So, like, the only way it doesn't kill you is if the card specifically says, I'm not affected by option cards. And so there's very limited number of cards in this game right now that says, hey, I'm unaffected. Otherwise, it's touching you, and it's going to your shields. No matter what, it's gone. And so Chaos Dag is just, it is a gross card. I say this all the time to the team that I play on, my friends, everybody. I'm like, Chaos Dag needs to go to 1. It just does.
I think that's something Digimon definitely needs to get into, is the limit 1 or the limit, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, like there's a limit 2 certain things. Like I think we're reaching the waters, especially once we get into EX4. I think we'll have enough cards to where we can. I think that door should be opened.
Yeah. I mean, you're saying it. I agree 100%. Yeah, I think semi-limited is something that Bandai needs to look into because I would argue Death X could go to semi-limited and be put at 2. Chaos Deck could be put to 2. Holy Wave could be put to 2.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't
those
think
are 2 cards I was thinking of.
Yeah, and I don't think it would kill the deck. I think honestly, if I play Security Control, so if you put Chaos Deck, Death X, and Holy Wave to 2 each, I would just substitute like 2 Tactical Retreats. I'd probably put in 2 Defeats, and then I would probably either run 2 more Wyvern's Breath or the new 8-cost option card, the one that says if you're at 3, you get to do both. Put 1 into security and next something by 13k. It's solid yellow. I don't have my deck with me.
Is it the one that is it the spear?
I think so. It's an 8-cost yellow is all I know. I wish I remember the name. I actually might have it right here. 1 second. I got a box of Dragonic War Bulk in right beside me. I think I could get it. But yeah, I think that card is just I think that's what I would substitute, because I mean it virtually does the same thing, except that you have to be specifically at 3, which as Chaos Dag you don't. But Chaos deck, you also have to have purple and yellow, you know?
But yellow is also where you can play with your security. There's even decks that literally just pulse bomb for one, revolving around you being at 3. So I mean,
Exactly.
I really like this conversation because this is like what I love, and I think this is what a lot of our listeners kind of needed, especially our new players, is hearing how you're describing Death X, your matchups, and it's like something I stumbled upon, and it was really funny when I played my Jelly Force deck. Everybody's like, I was like, oh, Death X, how am I going to get around this? I was like, technically, I could save my big body if I'm just able to have enough rookies. It was a cheaper way, but if I just had enough rookies to give Death X something else to hit.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, Death X, it's a pain. It's a miserable card to go against. It really is. But it's called Loken Addis Taco.
Yes, it's the
Achilles
weird.
One. It's the Achilles one.
It translates into spear or something like that. Yes.
Yeah. It's for the Postmon deck. But yeah, if you have 3 or more security cards, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 12. If you have 3 or fewer, place one of your opponent's Digimon face down on the top of their security. So I think that card's a good card. I run it in security control because once again, it's controlling the board state, which is so detrimental in Digimon right now that it's unreal. Like if you control the tempo and you make your opponent play your way, I don't see how you can lose.
Well, that's something I think it being, still, I know we're almost 11 sets in, but it's still being a fairly young card game. It makes it hard because we don't have all the answers. Like we're finding answers. I mean, like I said, the more you play and the better players you go up against, you're going to find out those niche methods or those cool ideas you didn't think of. Like you said, like even bringing up that 8-cost option card, like there's other ways. Like I think too many players just cry. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, Magic. They're just like, when something gets banned or limited, they're like, oh God, no. Like earlier you were sitting there with Crossheart. You were looking at it, you had it, and you were still wanting to make it work. And you were finding ways to make it work. Maybe not at 100%, it's not tier 0 or anything by that mean, but you were still making it playable.
Yeah. Because I mean, I think, and this has always been my mentality with this card game, I think that every deck that comes out can be good. I think it can be played. I think it can be fun. Do I think you could take it to a locals and win a tournament? Yeah. Do I think you could take it to a regional and top with it? Probably not. But like every deck, I think every deck is playable. It's just how you play, your mentality around it. And like you said in the beginning, knowing your opponent's deck better than they do really serves a purpose.
100%. Especially in the mirror match, knowing your own deck. But I think one of my favorite things, and just learning this, you played Dragon Ball Super, I've played Dragon Ball Super, and I've said this 1,000 times. Bandai is usually pretty good about, going back and giving support to older archetypes, or nothing is ever useless. There's very few useless cards. Yeah. So I feel like Bandai does, like you said, the spear, anything like that. Like eventually it's going to be used at some point. Or like I said, as the Digimon community grows, we're going to add more players and a better player base that's going to open those avenues to be like, oh, well, I didn't think of that, or I didn't think of this. And then that person's like, oh, well, yeah, that's a good card. Just drawing people from other experienced players from other card games. Like, I think it's good for the community as a whole.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Yeah. I think that Bandai, I hope that they don't do this the same way they did Dragon Ball Super. And I don't want to go on this terrible rant with Super, because I think that the problem that I had was that, Bardock, for example, that's a great example. Yeah. Bardock is in like 4 different colors. There's 4 different color Bardocks, and there's no way you could put all 4 together and make it work, right? But Bandai's already made a Gamamon deck, for example. Gamamon's 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors that you can put together and make the deck. And the deck is working based off of the 4 different colors. You get the level 4s that are blue and green and a red one. And then you have Gamamon, the purple,
Yep.
that you want. You want these cards on there, and they all digivolve over a red Gamamon, right? So I think Bandai's doing it correctly that way, But I mean, even now we got purple, red Imperial Dramon, and I wanted so badly to make blue, green, red, purple Imperial Dramon, just so I can just say, look at this, fighter mode over purple, red, dragon mode.
I don't think you're the only one, because when I read that, it just says, and I'm like, okay, could I put green? Could I put blue green fighter mode into this?
100% could. Would it work out for you? Probably not.
Or not.
Because it specifies blue green specifically, making fighter mode good. But I mean, and I just, they're two different archetypes, but I so badly wanted to make them work. But you got decks like Gamamon that work out perfect together. You got the Aegis-Dramon deck that's, two different colors. Examon, the dual colored decks, even tricolored decks right now, I think are working synergy wise. I think they're really good together.
And I'm loving that. And I think we can transition, the tournament talk. And congratulations to winning. And I actually mailed out your box today. So
oh, thank you.
You'll be getting that soon.
I'll let you know about Blood Death X.
Yeah, let me know. Maybe my blessing has rubbed off on that box.
I hope so.
Maybe even an alt art.
Hey, look, you saw the one I already run.
I know.
I have 2 regular arts and 1 alt art, and I'm never getting rid of this alt art because for whatever reason, it's like $120.
Listen, I sold mine. I was like, listen, I'll just go pleb. I'll run my 2 normal ones. You're gone.
Yeah. I only flex the 1 alt art if I'm running it as a one of. Any other time, I just sits there and I run 2 regular arts. I was like, I'm the world's worst about 1 alt art only in my deck, and then the rest of them are just normal arts.
Listen, if Haggy was here, he would feel your pain because he's that way. Like, I'm weird. I will run 3 normals and then 1 alt if I run 4. Yeah. And like, I do it in my Gamamon deck. Like, the whole thing's like that, and everybody's like, oh, but we were talking about Bandai, and I think this is a good time to transition into our other talking point for tonight. And that's One Piece. And, that's the newest Bandai game. It's kind of crazy to think Digimon started to boom, and then literally they made the One Piece announcement. And it's like, hey, this is going to be a global launch. And it just launched this Friday, it was Friday. So, and there's been, tournaments and opening tournaments and all this stuff. And there's just a huge boom of surplus and hype around One Piece right now. And like, are we thinking, because we talked about it earlier, and I feel strongly with you as well, I think this might put the nail in the coffin in Dragon Ball Super. Not Digimon, but definitely I think Dragon Ball Super is going to see a downhill turn, considering One Piece doesn't seem to be following the price points. And Digimon's cheap to get into, guys. One of the cheapest card games to get into. Dragon Ball Super is really expensive. Even a pleb deck, just a pub stomping deck, usually can run you like $120. So I feel like that One Piece, where do we think this is going to go in the next, we'll just say they're releasing the Dragon Ball Super digital card game. So, I mean, where do we think One Piece is going to be by, July of this coming year?
I mean, in my personal opinion, I see it taking over Dragon Ball Super completely. I think Super already as is. I mean, Nationals just happened over the weekend, Yep. And I'm pretty sure, I think it was like 500 people, I think that's what it was. I might be, give or take, around about.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. I watched a video from Crossworlds. I'm pretty sure it was close to that.
Yeah, and they just now did Worlds. They had Worlds last year, Andrew Duvall won that. He won Nationals again this year, going to Worlds again. I think the Super, I think it's still going to be played, but I think it's going to be treated, like decks, like games like Vanguard, right? Weiss Schwartz. It's a popular card game in certain areas, but as far as like consistently throughout the nation, right? Super is just very location specific,
For sure.
Yeah, and I just don't see, like, if we go to a regional, a TCG con, right? That happens throughout the years. I would see the tables being packed out for Yu-Gi-Oh, packed out for Pokemon, of course. I'd see about 300-400 people for Digimon. And when I went to this past year TCG con, I saw like 100 people for Dragon Ball Super. And but My Hero just came out last year.
Yep.
For the TCG con, I saw like 300 people over there for My Hero. And they didn't even have an actual sit come out until this year. So it's one of those, like, you got certain, like, it's all about hype, I think. But I think after the hype dies down, I see One Piece being right there consistent. I don't think it's going to be taking over Digimon by no means. But I see it, people will be like, yeah, it's a cheaper version of Dragon Ball Super. I'll take that all day instead of dropping $400 for a competitive deck.
Yep. And I think that was something, like you said, Dragon Ball Super, all of a sudden with COVID becoming so regional, it wasn't like Yu-Gi-Oh that, like, Yu-Gi-Oh players spending $450 on a deck is like, that's what? That's nothing. But yeah, Dragon Ball Super, I think, I hope this is if it stays to where, just like with Digimon, the prices, because Death X is probably the first really astounding jump I've seen in just a card to jump from, the normal $40 to $50 range and 60 to 70 to all of a sudden over $100.
Yeah, especially considering it's played as of, you have the Ghost Omni, Ghost Alpha, but they're never going to see play. No one's ever going to come to a tournament and slap a Ghost Omni on your face. If they are, they're either really, really rich or just really, really ignorant to the fact that that's over $1,000.
Yeah. Like, well, no. And I think, like, One Piece, like, I was shocked. I bought this starter deck from Target and it's just $10 off the shelf. I left $12 taxes and all. And I was like, man, that's cheap. I was like,
So on Amazon, they're $20 already.
Already? Okay. Well,
yeah, the hype train's real because, like I said, the sit just came out Friday, and I know my buddies, they already bought boxes each. They went to the pre-releases all weekend long, and they're just like, "Oh man, I got this card. I need 2 more of it." And they look on TCG Player, and it's pre-release prices, right? But they're like, "Oh god, this card's like $100." And I was like, give it a week. It'll drop down to like $50, $40. It's and I don't see One Piece being regional as bad as Super was. I see it being more broad. I see it being more localized. And Tennessee, for example, I see it being played. Knoxville is going to be playing One Piece. Chattanooga, Nashville. I see these big cities with their card shops. I see them having One Piece consistently, at least.
Well, Corbin's already they're doing 2 nights of One Piece every week.
Yeah, see. Yeah, so I mean and I just hate that it's going to take over, like, for example, Digimon slots, right? And that's the thing I'm combating with at our locals is they're like, well, we'll play it on Saturday. I was like, cool. What Saturday? You already have Digimon, you already have Yu-Gi-Oh, you have, the random Magic Commander players that never get enough about hating themselves and keep playing Commander. They're just, like, you get it's just what time frame, because they close at 7, but we could stay because it's a mall, we could stay until the mall closes at 10, but what time slot? It's just we couldn't find a time slot for My Hero, so I don't see how they're going to find a time slot for One Piece. So
see,
I don't know.
that kind of sucks too, because I feel like Corbin was already kind of, when I first got into Dragon Ball Super, they were done pretty big into it. They definitely jump on the hype trains of card games. And I remember, that was when I first played Dragon Ball Super was there. So I think that fan base that still played Dragon Ball Super, in the shadows, I think that, they came out to the One Piece launch and and it's Dragon Ball Super for, like, it's simple right now. We're not into quadruple strikers and anything like that. It's like Rush or Place One Dawn. It's still, relatively simple to learn. And I don't know how complex it'll get, but like we talked about earlier, they don't even have an actual counter besides in one deck that really doesn't need the the counters, but with Kaido.
I agree. Yeah, Kaido's busted. He shouldn't be good as he is. He's too consistent. It's just
Which, that's going to happen with early stages on. It's just like when Digimon launched, we had, those powerful decks that seemed like they stayed around forever because that's all we had at the time. We were living in that span of, okay, this is what we have, this is what we're going to play. And
Digimon and Rookie Rush.
yeah.
Hey man, I regret nothing. I Rookie Rush still to this day. I love it.
I champion Rush with
my
Gamamon.
best friend.
Puppetmon. There you go. Yeah. We actually Andrew's made a TikTok on Puppetmon.
Yeah.
But so Bandai, and I think Bandai, this is my thing. I think Bandai has noticed Dragon Ball Super. They have to. That's all these big wigs do is look at numbers and crunch numbers, and well, somebody there at their studio or their company looks at these numbers, and I think they can see sales and regional sales and stuff, and online clients help a lot. And we talked about One Piece, and now I think this is a good time to go into the next one, and that is Dragon Ball Super is releasing. Sometime we'll get to hear about it more in this coming year in 2023. The digital client, and for me personally, I thought this would be cool because I was thinking about it. And if you have Dragon Ball Super, we've seen that they were working on a Digimon one, like the Dragon Ball Super original reveal. When they showed that there was going to be an online client was almost 2 years ago. It was in like the middle of COVID about it. And now we've all said it, they done announced Digimon. It'll surely come out. And I think that's going to help Digimon a ton. I think so.
Yeah, I think because most people played, there's tabletop simulators and stuff like that you can use the people that are in charge of it are actually pretty good about updating it based off when new cards get released, they get translated. But I agree. I think a Digimon client internet base would actually help a lot as far as deck building goes, deck testing goes. Heck, I would play it if it came out. But I think they came out too late for Super. I think at this point, building a client for Super is just a huge waste of just funds and time and money. And I think that if they see it, they would go ahead and be in the works for One Piece as well. Because I think that client would just, like I said, I think it would save everybody a lot of time and money just to go ahead and push these out. But I don't like online clients as much, like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that, because one, it's glitchy. It can just fail miserably. The card won't come up. Can't find the card you want because it's not in the database yet, and so forth. So I think it's great that they had it for Super, but I kind of think they just did it too late in the game.
Oh, no, I mean, I agree that, I don't think it's going to save Dragon Ball Super, but I'm really glad because hopefully they're not totally ignorant or just plain out stupid and be like, oh, well, the Dragon Ball Super client didn't do well. We're not going to do Digimon. But I always think online clients open a door, and I never will forget when I talked to another group of my buddies when Hearthstone came out, and I was like, oh, I don't like Hearthstone. It's just like I like the feel of real cardboard in between my fingers, Yeah. But Hearthstone just kept growing, kept doing good, just kept just succeeding, and Pokemon's another one. Until when I was younger, I'd just go play Pokemon. Then I had kids, and I was like, well, you know what? PTCGO is not that bad. I can sit on my couch and play.
Yeah, I agree. And I hope that Digimon does that, like how they do with Pokemon. Like when you buy a box of or single packs of Pokemon, they give you the barcode card so it can go into your database,
Yes.
I think if they did something like that, similar to what Pokemon does, I could see that really, really mattering. Because Super a few years ago, I'd say a few. It was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. they did this thing where it's like you got points for winning tournaments. Every time you went to an event, you logged into the little super app, they gave you a point. And then if you won the tournament, you got 5. You lost the tournament, or you got second, you got 3, right? And at the end of the season, you know, if you had all these points, you got put onto like this national bracket for ranked super players, right?
Yep.
And I thought that was so neat until you realized, and Super realized, I'm sure Bandai caught on real quick, that, you know, people aren't honest. They could just go to the store and be like, hey, nobody shows up for Super anymore. Can I just have all 100 of those? And just put it in, right? So now they're ranked like in the top 100 in the nation, and, you know, their locals are like themselves. So
it's just me.
So I remember when they did that, and then they never did it again. I think it lasted a few months, and then they were just, yeah, that was our bad. That was a dumb idea. Sorry about it. And then they just went on their day. But I think the client thing would be great if there's just so many opportunities that I think Bandai could just go wild with. Like I referenced the Pokemon thing. Every pack having those barcodes to where you can download it onto your client. So not only does that give you the new cards, but it keeps track of like, hey, yeah, this game is still thriving. People are still buying. They're still invested in it, you know?
And that's something like, so you guys remember the first several sets. You know, we had the set list in the back, you know, the memory gauges that came in pretty much every pack of cards. Like I've got a bajillion of them that I finally just started throwing away. I was keeping them to give them out to people. Then, you know, of course they made cooler memory gauges, but they've already, you know, to me, that was, I said it in one of my first ever box openings was like, you know, this is a good sign. I was like, they're done doing this. All they have to do is add a code onto this.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then boom, we're ready to go.
Yep, put it right on the back instead of having the rulings and stuff like that. The game's been long enough now to where you can just simply just look up all the rulings and all the functions of how the game works to where you can just get away with it. Put a piece of barcode. Or, hell, waste more trees on the earth. Put an extra piece back there with a barcode on it. I'll still buy it.
Listen, I'm done buying shiny cardboard like, you know, it's crack. So you don't have to convince me.
Yeah. You're not going to make my addiction any less addictive. You're not swaying me. You already have my paycheck. Let's go.
And the game is called Digital Monsters. Like, where's the digital cards?
Hey, well, that's it. That's perfectly true.
It's funny because, like, you know, the original test app, you know, like to teach you the tutorial app, pretty solid. Like the music was a little bit annoying, but you know, just the interactions, the DP reductions, they done had the premise. It done looked cool. It felt good when you struck an opponent. You know, watching War Greymon smack into somebody and just seeing the claw. They done have it. They just need to do it.
I couldn't agree more. And plus, like I said, wouldn't it be neat, like how Cardboard was saying, like it's digital monsters, right? What if you get the barcode, you get like a random digital egg, right? And the more that you use that client, you know, the more the egg could evolve, you know, see what rookie you got, you know, you could get whatever the series that comes out with the barcodes, you get the rookies that are like primarily out of there, right?
Or that could be your avatar. Like, you know, like you could play off, you make your character and then you get a little rookie and like, you'd be like, oh, well now I'm going to try to find this. This is way out there. My ADD just ran wild. You could find a special pack that's got a special egg. So you could have a cool rookie in the client.
You could get the random virus egg and be like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. You get the random infected egg, you know, get Diaboromon.
Okay. Well, so what, you know, I've played Pokemon online for a long time. You know, of course, the new client released, and there was a bunch of, like you said, like online clients have always been played with just horrible bugs or just bugs that aren't bad, but they're annoying enough to make you not want to play, and they all have them. But Pokemon, you know, you played the original PTCGO, like when you did your big move, the water would come down, or the rocks, or the meteorites, or the psychic beam, or the flames. It felt good, like you could feel it, like, oh, I'm doing damage, doing massive damage. and the new client didn't have that.
Yeah.
So like that was something that I wanted them to add super badly. So going in, Magic's done it, Hearthstone's done it, Yu-Gi-Oh has done it. We know it'll have or I feel like it'll definitely have microtransactions.
Dude, I hope not. Oh man,
I think this is my thing. Like I would love them to have the code cards, but I think we'll have a microtransaction system. I don't want it to be like MTGO. I felt like that was a little bit too much for me. I would prefer it to be a Hearthstone based where it's like, okay, I buy these cards. Ooh, I pulled a very good super rare that I do not play. Or you pull a secret you do not play. These are just, wants that I would love to have. I can break it down for dust to make a secret rare that I want, or it's like,
like a master duel kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that'd be cool. I hope they don't do microtransactions because, like I said, I invest way too much money as it is. I don't want more money wasted. But I say wasted. I enjoy it. But yeah, I think you're right. I could see that being a thing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Unfortunately started doing it, Master Duel and stuff like that. Wizards has always been like, hey, give me your money. Since it came out in the 90s, they've never not. They literally could reprint a lot of these cards that are worth thousands and thousands of dollars, and they won't, simply for the fact that people pay thousands of dollars for these cards that they're never gonna use.
Oh, it's like a stock market.
Yeah, some of them are banned. And they're still worth like 10K, you know what I mean? So it's like Wizards is the world's worst about, hey, give me your money.
Wait, what do you mean? We released the 30th anniversary set that has reprints that are worthless.
Yeah, literally is illegal in Commander. You got to reprint. That's illegal. Like you can't even use it. So yeah, thanks Wizards. You're the best.
Oh, well, yeah, that's something, or we could maybe even hopefully just be like Pokemon and like, you play to get just the currency. You can't spend physical money. So it's not pay to win. So you don't have whales out there. And like the only thing you can actually buy is like cosmetics. I mean, I think that's, would be a good approach. Like buying a rookie or changing the landscape, things like that. Just cosmetic. I'm okay with. That's probably one of my favorite microtransactions. Is where, shoot, what's it called? It's a League of Legends like auto chess game. What's it called?
I think I know what you're talking about, but
it's just cosmetics. See, I'm a cosmetic whore. Like you sell me a skin, I'm there.
Okay. Yeah, Fortnite did that to everybody, so I guess it's normal.
So, in an online client, what would you guys like want to see from it? Like, what's some like wants you would want in a Digimon client? Because I feel like Tabletop Simulator does the cool things. Like, you can even hold a tournament in Tabletop Simulator. Like, you can have 4 boards in there at one time. You can have up to 8 people going at it in one room. And I think that's pretty cool.
One thing I think would be the best part for the client is being able to host tournaments like that. Like Master Duel, you can host tournaments with your buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Like 16 people, 32 people sitting in a lobby together, just playing it, going to see who's the best. And the one thing I don't want to see is it be a money pit. I don't want it to be play to win, like pay to win. I don't want that at all. I want the only way you can win is if you work for it, because I mean, throwing money at a card game online, it's like any game really, throwing money just to make it to where you have a better time. I kind of frown at that. I don't really like it.
Cardboard, what about you? What's something you would, hope for the client, but what is something you want them to stay away from?
Stay away from?
Mm-hmm. I think microtransactions as a whole, we can vote on that. We would rather not, be able to dump like, your whole paycheck to just,
play online and not be able to play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. I hate microtransactions.
Like I said, I'm cool with cosmetics. I think cosmetics are cool.
Yeah, because like we said in the beginning, it'd be so neat to have an egg. You get to make your own tamer, like I'm saying, like you create your own tamer,
Yep.
right? And then you just get a random egg based off all the rookie levels, and then it just like the more you play, the more your egg evolves, and then it cracks into whatever digi egg it is, and then it turns into your rookie, and then you get your, the more you play, you can go all the way up to Mega.
Yes. Oh, or how well you do, or like, you couldn't have like just a horrible poke or a horrible Digimon, but like that would be neat. Like you could get like champion. Listen, I know they haven't like we know it's in the works slightly because they had the little leak of like it was just 2 little screenshots of the game, and I'm just total speculation. If they're making one for Dragon Ball Super, I think Bandai would just totally be shit in the bed if they didn't have one for Digimon and One Piece in the making.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or even coming out, Digimon especially.
Yeah. And if they are working on it, hey Bandai, you're welcome for the advice.
Bandai, if you ever listen, hey, we predicted Crossheart's death. Sorry, but we predicted it like almost 2-3 weeks in advance.
Yeah, we saw that shit coming. Be less obvious.
It's like, I hopefully it will. Hopefully it'll be a good client. And
yeah, I don't see it being bad. I don't see it being bad because, like, hell, Master Duel, I don't think it's great, but hell, it's addictive.
Oh yeah.
I
don't even play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Decks,
So one of the interesting things about Master Duel that I saw was they're doing tournaments for Master Duel since it's got a separate ban list.
Yeah, yeah, they are, and
I think cool to open it up too.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that's super neat.
Man, I don't know. Like, I'm just excited for the future of Digimon. Like, I don't know. It's like having an early Christmas, just seeing all this stuff and being able to speculate where we're going to go in Bandai as a company. Hopefully they'll, just mold this. Like I said, like Dragon Ball Super was like I said, I'm playing in a tournament this week. I still love the game. Like I love Dragon Ball. And I think that's what helps them is Dragon Ball Super or Dragon Ball. Everyone at a certain age knows that. Even like younger kids are like, granted it's through Fortnite, but even my nephews are like, oh my, you watch this, Uncle Mikey? I'm like, dude, like listen, let's sit down. Let me show you some movies. Yeah. Let me let you watch Dragon Ball. All right.
You open up your VHS cabinet and it's the whole decorative Majin Buu saga all together.
Yes.
With,
yes.
Not Datara, Diabora, or whatever his name, shooting the spit in the concrete.
Yes. I still have all those. Like they're literally out here in my garage on the wall.
Yes, same. That was the old days, man. That was the stuff. They took time into that series.
Yeah. And I think that's what helps Bandai's card games is Digimon yet again has a lot of lore, and I think they put a lot of that into the card games, like Zenkai Boost being added to Super, Digimon like having little like nods to the anime or the manga and all this. And One Piece, we didn't know. There's like some diehard One Piece fans all over the world.
Unfortunately, it's been going on forever and it's never going to end.
So, I mean, if that gives us any hope, like Bandai doesn't seem like, premium Bandai even like, no, they haven't made the most glorious products, but there's some really nice Dragon Ball Super products. Like the anniversary boxes are very nice. I always buy an anniversary box, even when I wasn't playing. They're just neat storage boxes. They're cool art pieces. You get cool sleeves. Every card game player loves sleeves.
Yeah.
Speaking of sleeves, Mega, what do you think about the Prismatic Defenders?
I love them. Yeah. So I'm on a team called Team Demon Lords, and I ordered the little demo set off the website. When you were posting it on TikTok Live, and I split it out amongst 4 of us, and I split out all the sleeves and stuff, and we all tried them out. And man, we got half of the guys on our team is like, all right, what's the website? And they went in and ordered them. I think the quality of the sleeve's good. I think most of us were really like, hell yeah, that perfect fit. That sold us right there. It's neat. I have no complaints.
I had never double sleeved any of my decks before this, but I really like the feel of it being double sleeved.
Yeah. Well, I unfortunately have double sleeved a lot of my decks because some of those cards get crazy at first, and like especially if it's running the meta for so long. And that's like a complaint that I've had, like we talked about earlier. Like, the prices of Digimon really is based off what the meta is. And I think when the sits have long spaces, that controls the pricing of the market because everybody wants the meta. They're meta chasers most of the time, which isn't bad. I am, I want
Tier
to win. I
one.
don't want to lose.
No, I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Protect your investment.
yeah, exactly. But those sleeves, though, man, I thank you for your TikTok live video about them because I love them.
I even bought a couple that now sorry, Prismatic Defender, if you hear me, but you probably will. The only one that I felt because it was just questionable was the Oracle. They're just straight rainbow inners, and it made it like super. Which it's my lighting. I'm pretty sure in person tournaments wouldn't be that bad, under straight LED lights. But it was super hard to see because it just made it so much. There was so much holographic. It was
we had the same issue. We actually put it on the back. We turned it around and just used the perfect fit and had the sheen on the back, And still, even about the sheen being a little too strong on it, the quality of the perfect fit, because like I stuck my fingers in them and like kind of like stretched it out just to see like how durable it was. It's durable sleeves, like they're good sleeves, good quality.
I've been shuffling this deck because I just got the normal obsidian, like there's no hollow on them, and I love the way they shuffle. I like the smoothness of them and everything, so I'm excited and I can't wait. Haven't got to play it, but I've got my red Imperial, my Virus Imperial deck ready to go here. Ready to play it.
Hey, Prismatic, if you guys are listening, if you want to sponsor a team, we'll take it.
Hey, I guarantee they would.
Yeah,
especially in Digimon.
Yeah, I'll plug us real quick. We will take a sponsor all day. These card shops be very scarce on their money to help us out.
Well, hey, look, listen, this is okay. Go ahead and plug your team, the whole 9 yards, name off your crew. Do they have any like social media, whatever you want to do? You got the floor.
Yeah. So the main social media we have is Keith Fuller. He goes by KangPetty. He's on TikTok and Twitch and YouTube. If you ever looked him up on YouTube, you'll see several of us on there. Deck profiles like from the regional in Nashville. Several of us topped in there. It's cool, man. So he's pretty much the only one that does social media as far as like streaming and all that stuff goes and everything like that. But yeah, like I said, we're called Team Demon Lords. We're mostly based out of Chattanooga, Dalton area, but our locals were Battlegrounds in Dalton, Georgia. That's where a majority of us, you'll always see us playing down on Sundays. We usually have like a 20 plus local every Sunday. It's super cool, great area, a lot of really strong players. They're such good players that play there. And then we play up here in Cleveland and Knoxville, of course, CM Games being the powerhouse that it is. And then our locals in Cleveland's called Dicehead Comics and Games. We play every Saturday. So, but yeah, I mean, the Team Demon Lords, if you look KangPetty up, you'll see a bunch of videos about us, most of our players.
I'll have the KangPetty linked in the description.
Hey, yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks. But yeah, I'm sure he'd appreciate all the love and support too. But hopefully, when this national season goes, I think all of us have our invite to go. I think except for like 4 of us. I think it's 4 or 5 of us don't have our invite. But they're going for the qualifiers the day before, to hopefully get in at the last minute. And even if they don't, they still have all these big events, win mats, win boxes, So we're hoping to get down there and, represent, and hopefully at least half of us come out positive. And even if we don't, it's still fun to show up, get our name around there, get people liking us and stuff.
Heck yeah.
But no, yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me do the shout outs on those. I'm sure the guys will appreciate it. Prismatic, you're listening. Help us out. we would love it if you give us one of those iron-on patches to put on our team shirt.
Oh
You know?
yeah, because I didn't know you was part of a team until CM and sorry, Corbin Toys and Games. They posted their pictures and I was like, hey, there's Mega Sweaty. I was like,
Yeah. So it's here, the whole story behind this. Okay, I don't like being on teams. I'm gonna be honest. I never have. I try to avoid it like the plague. But the guys that are like the captains of our team, right? I've known Tracy for 10 years. And Shaq, I just recently met a couple of years ago. You know, we became really good acquaintances and stuff like that. One day, Tracy was just at my house, and we were all hanging out, chilling, and stuff like that. And he went, "Oh yeah, hey, I forgot to tell you, you're on a Digimon team." I went, "What? No, I'm not." And he's like, "Yeah. No, you are. I signed you up. You're in." I was like, "I don't want to." And he's like, "That's too late. I already got you a shirt." And I was like, "All right, I guess I'm on it. Thank you." And I was like, "When did this happen?" He's like 4 months ago.
You were done like bought and paid for before you even knew it.
Yeah. I didn't even know it was happening, right? And so because I don't have like Facebook or any social media or none of that jazz, you know, and stuff like that. I mostly stick with I kind of just stick to my phone number. You know, if I know you, you gotta get my phone number. If I don't know you, you know, if you see me in person, kind of stuff like that. But the team is just strictly Facebook Messenger, how we communicate. We have a Discord where we, you know, play and meet up and make plans to travel and stuff together. But they were like, I apparently was a part of that for a while, and I had no clue about it. I didn't even have a Facebook. And so I was like, oh, when is this happening, you know? And so it's a funny story of how it happened. And I still, to this day, try to get kicked off the team. And they just won't let me leave. And I think he does it because he knows I don't want to be there. But no, I'm kidding. I like him. I like all the guys we play with. We've all known each other. Most of us were Yu-Gi-Oh players back in the day, playing around with each other. It's just they're all so talented, though. I can't stress that enough. I'm probably one of the worst players we have on the team, and I'll say that confidently. Like, there's so many good players on our team. It is wild. Like, very good players. They're just super smart. Like the cards, like how we talked about card ideas, and just I know I'm rambling about them and stuff like that. Like, feel like I'm stroking their ego, but it's the truth. Like, cards that I would be like, no, that's trash. I wouldn't play that card. They could just make a deck out of it and just prove me wrong that day. You know, it's just Sam and Cameron, the guys I recommended to judge. They're like the encyclopedias for cards. They could tell you stuff that came out in like 2019 when the game first started, like quote it for text, card number and all. They're really good. They're a part of the team also, and they're just such talented players.
You got a lot of videos on here. I'm just scrolling the YouTube and I'm like, dang, I was like, this is where y'all been? When I was searching for Digimon content, I needed some of this stuff.
Yeah, there's a bunch of us. Yeah, you'll see Jesse Lackey on there for a long time because he, like, at locals, he would always get first place at locals. And
yeah, I see that.
And so at the beginning of it, you know, Keith was like, and then towards the end, it was just one of those like I was so invested in making Lackey continuously win, just because I just thought it was hilarious that he kept getting first place at every single local, and he was only playing Nastimon.
Y'all know I see that. It's funny. 2-peat, 3-peat, undefeated champion. I love that picture.
Yeah, and then he finally lost. And everybody, so we do this thing like Money in the Bank, where it's like, if you win, you get to take on the champion, the undisputed champion, right? And if you win, you become the undisputed champion. Like, it's just stuff like that where everybody just tries so hard to make the other person keep their stuff like 100%. They're really good. I can't stress that enough, how talented those guys are. It's fun though. But no, yeah, they got some good content. Keith, he has some good deck profiles from like the regional in Kansas City. He has several people that topped up there. I know, what's his name? Kami. I can't even think of his name. He has a YouTube channel too, Card Kami or something like that. I feel like a jerk not remembering his name, but he's also on there. He played security control. The guy that won has his interview on there. But yeah, we hopefully, can get bigger, but we're not trying to get bigger. We're just trying to get better and win, That's really all we try for, is just to get better at the game.
Well, according to these videos, you guys do some winning.
Some of us do, yeah. Jesse Lackey predominantly,
Yeah.
he kind of annoyingly wins a lot. And but I say annoyingly, it's good because it makes everybody try harder. And Keith himself, Keith is no joke either. Him and his brother Ken, they're both super, super good at the game. Like I said, I'm probably one of the worst players we got. I can't reiterate that enough. And I'm bad at the game.
That's scary. That's scary. If you're one of the worst on the team, if I seen you guys rolling up now, I'd probably be a little bit nervous.
Yeah. No, I get lucky. That's my thing. Is like I said before, I don't really touch the game at all, except for like the day we're starting to play. And these guys, that they eat, sleep, and they're constantly on the main Digimon TCG Discord playing people from different countries. They're play testing nonstop every night for hours at a time. Just every day play testing. Like we talked about in the podcast, knowing your opponent's deck better than you do, that's how you win games. So just that constant striving to do that is just why they're such talented players.
Knowing your matchups, like in playtesting, we mentioned that the last episode. Playtesting is important. You can't just watch the tier 1 Mario Gaming World video or Aether or whoever and go expect to win. You might if it's really good, almost dummy proof. But yeah, you definitely got to playtest a lot.
Yeah, see, I should take my own advice as far as that goes, because I'm one of those kids that I'm the world's worst about thinking like, oh, hey, I just feel like playing this today, so let me put it back together. Like I played Crossheart for the first time since the ban list hit today against, Aaron before this started, and I hadn't touched that deck in forever, and I was like, oh yeah, I should have played test before this. I should have practiced. This is not fun for me.
Playing Tyrannomon.
Yeah, see, you're one of the committed people. I respect that.
Listen, hey, I mean, it works. Like, I think that's why I'm always scared to pick up Gamamon, because I'm like, I have it sitting here, and I just added Dorbrigmon to it, so...
You needed to. Dorbrick's good in that deck.
Yeah, I want to see how it works, so I'm off the next 3 days, so if anybody wants to play test, I'm down.
Hey man, I am actually off for the next 2 days as well, so I'm down to play test.
Heck yeah!
Yeah. So usually the days I'll play, I'll play on Monday nights most of the time because I'm off Tuesday, Wednesday. So Mondays are usually the day that I play. So, but I'm down for it. But Gamamon's scary, man. He's one of the decks that I said, that it doesn't take a lot to win with because he's so versatile, And if you're caught slacking and Gamamon just opens up clutch, he'll win. He'll just break all your shields for like 15k with Guy's Skiomon or Guy's Gamamon, And it's just, I hate it.
Red decks, baby. Well, I thank you for being on the podcast, Mega. It's awesome to have you here, and it's, congratulations on your win. Your boxes in the mail, and like I said, you'll have to tell us your pulls.
Oh yeah, I'll take pictures of it and show you guys. Definitely will. If I pull a Death X, thank you in advance. I don't pull one. Thank you still for the box, but give me another one with a Death X next time, preferably.
We've still got it. We've still got another box up for grabs. Like I said, got random promos laying around and everything. So I don't know how often we'll hold the Discord tournaments. Like, everyone's free to play and hop into the Cataclysmic Cardboard Discord server. And, we got rooms for almost everything. Dragon Ball Super sadly dead, but Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, which most of them play Master Duel. But yeah, so we've got rooms for Digimon, Pokemon, everything. So yeah.
Make one for One Piece too.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to go in there and edit that, which I'm the only one right now with a deck.
Hey, look, I will say this again. Anybody wants to buy those from me, they're up for grabs.
And they're going up. Even the normal ones are going up. So you might want to go buy one.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the hype train is coming out. Like every new card game, the hype is real. But I think this hype is justified. I think it's the right anime. It's the right style. It's not complicated to pick up right off the bat. It's very straightforward. It's what the card says is what the card does, and I think you gain from that.
The artwork on a lot of the cards, and
Beautiful.
they've started the alt arts and the full art. So I mean,
Oh, yeah. Have you seen any of them out yet? Because my
yes,
buddy pulled some, and I was like, "Holy cow!"
they're nice. They're
Yeah,
very beautiful cards.
it's so beautiful. It
Bandai
really is.
Bandai just doesn't make ugly cards. I promise, guys. If you want a TCG to hop into or just collect, I'm pretty sure unless Bandai just drops the ball with whatever they do next, they just make pretty card games.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. Bandai has never lacked when it comes to the card game style. Especially the colors, the schemes, just the artwork itself. It's like bringing the comic book, like the mangas or the animes to life, like the movies. I wanted to bring that up too before we ended up changing subject and I forgot about it. Like Bandai's super good about when the new movies drop, they make promo cards for it. They make sets for it. So imagine when the new Digimon World comes out. They're going to have some promo cards based off that. I can't wait.
Man, I'm hyped. All right, first One Piece tournament coming January in the Cataclysmic Cardboard Discord server. There we go.
I'll be rooting for you guys from afar, from a long far.
I'm ready to play. But yeah, I think that's it for us. And like I said,
man. And
thanks for
Tiny's
being
not
on here. We should have clipped him at some point. You're gonna have to splice his.
I know. I'll have to get him to record a basic one. That way, I've got mine for the beginning and Jordan's little snippet.
Yeah.
And if we get sponsored by Prismatic Defenders, you can make the snippet for it. Because
nice.
Toss that in every episode.
Nice. Thank you all for listening. This has been episode 8 of the Security Check Digimon TCG podcast. Thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you next time.